When did you learn the truth about the family business? I always thought my family just ran a chain of funeral homes. Nothing shady, just a legacy of helping grieving families. That's what Dad always said anyway. But when I turned 18 and didn't get into the college I applied to, my father sat me down and said, "It's time you learned about the real family business." Turns out our top-tier cremation service. It was actually a front for disposing of bodies for organized crime. Yeah, people who wanted others to disappear for good brought their victims to us. Dad explained how we cremated those bodies alongside real clients, mixing the ashes so there was no trace left. He said, "We don't just run funerals, we solve problems for people who pay top dollar for permanent solutions." He took me into a hidden room where they kept bodies without paperwork. There were fake death certificates and doctored files to make murders look like natural causes. Over to what he claimed we'd handled. Each one brought in $50K to $100K depending on how messy it was. He bribed coroners, had corrupt cops feeding him tips on investigations. Everything we own came from this business, he told me. No, it's your turn to earn your keep. And I think you know what happens if you mess it up. He pointed toward the freezer. Suddenly, I was part of the operation, whether I wanted to be or not. He brought me to meetings with crime bosses who talked about bodies like they were pizza deliveries. Taught me how to work the industrial cremation ovens that could reduce a body to ash in under 2 hours. When I hesitated during my first solo, premium cremation, Dad barked, "No one gets rich without getting their hands dirty, fry him." So I did. And I kept doing it. For almost a year, I stopped counting after a while. But I still remember the children, the pregnant women. I knew people out there were searching, praying that their loved ones were still alive, not realizing I'd burned every trace of them to ash. And then came the day I recognized one of the bodies. It was a guy I went to high school with, always nice to me. Let me copy his homework more than once. I'd heard he died in a car accident, but his body was full of gunshot wounds. That wasn't a crash, that was an execution. I lost it. I confronted my dad and told him I couldn't keep doing this. He exploded, screamed that he risked everything bringing me in because I was too much of a screw up to succeed on my own. "The only way out of this business is in a body bag," he said. "I won't let you destroy what I built just because you're crying over some dead kid who probably had it coming." That night I ran, straight to the FBI. I offered to testify and help build a case. If they gave me witness protection, they were stunned. Couldn't believe the scale of what I was describing. They started planning raids immediately. For the first time, I felt hope. Like the families of those victims would finally get answers. Like I'd never have to be part of something so horrifying again. But I underestimated my dad. Within hours of meeting the FBI, there were gunshots outside the safe house. Agents shouted into walkie-talkies, scrambling to get me out. Dad's clients had already tracked me down, and he'd put a $50,000 bounty on my head. They moved me to a new safe house, and then again and again. 3 relocations in 2 weeks. I started to feel like I'd never really be safe. If the FBI couldn't protect me, who could? But then one of Dad's biggest clients got arrested. And he flipped. He handed over records, receipts, emails, photos, proof of over 2 decades of body disposals. Everything I told the FBI confirmed. The investigation exploded. My dad was charged with racketeering, conspiracy to commit murder, and obstruction. He's in prison now, serving life. And me, I got my new name, a new city, and a shot at a new life. I'm 25 now, working as a defense counselor, trying to help people through loss the right way. But some nights, I still wake up in a cold sweat, haunted by the faces of the people I helped disappear.